Welcome to Embrace Yourself. My name is Kim, and I'm a movement specialist passionate about joy, health, and happiness. I want each of us to discover our healthiest, happiest selves. But to do that, we have to get up and move. Now, last week, I taught a variety of fascial releases that were designed to help us release physical and emotional traumas that are stored inside of our fascial tissue. That was so important to me because if we have trauma stored in the tissue, how can we possibly feel good enough to get up and move? So if you aren't doing those stretches and releases, I highly recommend incorporating them, especially the more you do start moving, because we need to get this stuff out of our body so that we can feel our best self possible. Yesterday, I went through food journaling, and I'm passionate about food and food journaling because we're learning so much about our gut microbiome. We realize that if we're putting garbage in, it's killing us and we're getting garbage back out. So it's so important to take note of the things that you're using and eating to fuel your body so that you can find your best, healthiest, happiest version of yourself. Today, I'm super excited because we're finally ready to get up and move. We're going to do one of my favorite exercises known as the glute education exercise. Now, our glutes are our butt muscles. We've been using them more often as seat cushions, but they're really the muscles that are meant to help us extend our hips. And by extension, that means standing up. That means walking and extending that hip. That means using it if we want to salsa dance. So these muscles are so crucial to our movement, and I want to make sure that everyone feels good in how they use their glutes. Now, for those of you that are already doing squats and lunges and saying, this is a piece of cake, that's wonderful. Keep doing it. But for those of us that have a difficult time getting up out of a chair without using our upper body, without knocking our knees in to get up, without using every other muscle but our gluteals because we're so focused on pushing out of the ground and pushing through those quadriceps and pushing through the feet, we don't have our powerhouse, which is the glutes and core, to help lift us up. So that's what we're here to learn today. So the easiest, most simple exercise to incorporate into your daily routine is fire up those glutes. And how I do it, I'm sitting in a chair, I'm in a meeting, I'm eating at the kitchen table, I'm watching television. You can focus on squeezing one butt cheek at a time, holding for 10 seconds, and then release. Then squeeze the other glute, 4, 5, 6, 10 seconds at a time, and release. I love to tell my clients, pay attention as you're doing it. Do you feel one glute muscle start to gently fade, like it just doesn't have the strength? This is an exercise you can do multiple times a day, every single day, and you'll eventually build up enough strength that you can squeeze the glutes, engage that core, and stand up out of a chair without having to use something else to get us propelled forward. Now, what we want to do is focus, and I like to picture someone squeezing my glutes or maybe ricocheting something off of my gluteal muscles, so I think about making them as rock solid as I can. And I like to do single, and then double. So I'm doing one gluteal for 5 seconds to 10 seconds and release. Then I do the other side. And ideally, I love to try for 10 seconds, maybe even 15, 20. And then I'll do both glutes. And you can see that I'm starting to elevate myself out of the chair. Now, the other two pieces that are important, we need to have our hip bones in line with our knee joints to our second and third toes. Remember that critical alignment because my hips are going to produce 8 times my body weight in power. Meanwhile, my feet are absorbing 8 times my body weight in impact force. That's a lot of weight going through my joints. And if I'm not well aligned, it can go into my knees or up into my back. So I've got to make sure my alignment is key. As I'm doing this, I think about squeezing the glutes, using those outer glute mediuses to help me wrap my knees so they stay in line with the hips. Then I visualize my NASA symbol with those slings. So I'm engaging all of my cross-fascial slings. I'm engaging that transversus abdominis, that cool muscle that belts right around my spine to hold me erect. And then from there, I think about using my feet. I'm connecting through the earth. So I use that big toe and fire up an adductor, an inner thigh sling that helps me engage that pelvic floor. So I take a nice deep breath, I hold and I squeeze and I'm cinching and I'm engaging everything, and I stand up. That way it prevents me from falling forward, which is what so many of us want to do. We want to lean all the way forward to stand up. Think about elongating that spine as I squeeze the glutes to stand and lift. Now, how can you make this a workout? Super easy. You can focus on lifting and lowering out of a chair multiple times in a day. Sometimes you could just practice lifting, squeezing that glute, standing up, and then thinking, I'm just gonna hover and start to sit back down. And then think about squeezing the glutes to stand back up and release. And then squeeze those glutes to try and stand back up and release. You could just go through the full range of motion. Sit, squeeze the glutes to stand, sit back down, squeeze the glutes to stand. Any chance you get to engage those gluteals, they are going to thank you, because the more we sit, the more they become that cushion. So let's really focus on those glutes. This is your home fun for today. I'd love to see you just practice that 5, 10, 15-second hold on each side and then both sides, and do that maybe 10 repetitions and a few times a day, or anytime you think about it while you're sitting at the office working on your computer. Just try and fire those glutes. Make it a game. If we can make it fun, we'll be more likely to do it. Then from there, you can practice when you're getting ready to watch your favorite TV show. You could be on the edge of your seat, squeeze the glutes to stand, hover, sit, get excited, sit to stand. So play around with it and have some fun. That is your home fun for today. Thanks so much for joining, and I will definitely see you tomorrow.